Okay. Before we talk about the pay, what is it called? See, I read so much stuff, I get confused. What are we talking about?
This, and what are we doing?
No.
The
title is the pay plan.
Compensation. Okay. Yeah.
The unpopular pay plan. Okay.
There you go. Okay.
I was thinking about our next doohickeys paper, and I just wanted to make sure you guys are okay with just doing it the same way we've been doing it, which means I would use this week's topic, and you would have next week's topic.
Yep.
Which I already looked up is discipline and wage and hour laws.
Yes.
Yep. Probably mostly about discipline.
Yep.
And then Michael would be organized labor. That's 3 weeks or 2 weeks from now.
He seems to get that. It seems like they're they overlap every 3 weeks. So he seems to be getting the, I don't know. They seem to be the same. So.
You mean like,
I don't.
Like how organized labor goes along like with discipline, or you mean with what he did last time?
He just is a little more centered around laws and regulations, I think.
Oh, okay.
Just noticed. So,
well, if you want to change it up, I'm okay with that. I just feel like it's just okay.
I think it's just fine.
It's easier to just keep going the way we've been doing it. Okay.
And I think he can just do the paper the way we've done it before, and I think it's been fine. I haven't heard back from the teacher yet, so I'm not sure, but I would assume we did fine. So.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so we are supposed to talk about these people and their ideas.
Yeah.
And let me pull up the right. I'm looking at my discussion leader assignment because I wanted to kind of know beforehand. It looks like I'm going to have to report what our recommendations are for the pay plan, whatever we agree on, or if we disagree, I'd rather just that we agree on something and I can write that. So let's make sure we agree on something.
That sounds fine.
Okay, so prep, discussion leader prep. Okay, so I gave us all assignments, and I should have read the thing before making assignments, because as I was reading it, I saw that, oh, wait. Oh, that's not Michael. I got a text. I'm like, oh, wait, no, he doesn't have my number. I should have mixed it up a little bit, but since I hadn't read it first, I didn't realize. Then I'm reading it, and your two people were, like, arguing back and forth.
Yeah, yeah.
But we can just, let's see. Okay, so I'm Gilbert. I'm in charge here. I'm supposed to welcome you to our committee meeting. And I want to get your input so we can create a pay plan that will be best for everyone. So that's our goal today, is to create a pay plan that will be best for everyone involved. And I know reading through, everyone had different ideas. And so I think what we have to remember is that there's not just one right idea, it's everybody coming together and trying to create something using lots of different ideas. So that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to brainstorm.
Yep.
And since I'm going to be doing an assignment based on this, I'll just write, it says to ask someone to be the scribe, but I'll just do it. We brainstorm. Now, I don't know about you, but I have a hard time brainstorming from my own brain when I've just read a bunch of other ideas. Like, okay, so are we brainstorming and just picking out those people's ideas?
Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing that keeps coming back, and I don't remember who said this because now I did read it yesterday, so my mind's not quite as fresh on it, but my only thought is that I don't think that they should be taking pay away to begin this. That seems, I mean, I would be livid if, you know, this is what I'm living on, and now all of a sudden you're going to take 25% of my pay away.
Right.
And then depend upon everybody around me to see if I can get back up to my normal pay. That would just infuriate me.
That caught me off guard
Me too.
When I first I realized it was, oh, this is just one person's idea, and then we're going to talk about it, and that would make sense to have something not good, so that they have something to fight against. But yeah, because I'm like, wait, I had to read that a couple times. Like, really, they're going to take away, and then no, that didn't seem right to me either.
Yeah, that just seems to be what they were throwing out to say this is kind of what we're looking at. And then lots of different ways that you could get more pay, which I thought was interesting. I don't know. I like the team approach, but I really worry that, I mean, you know, in teamwork, there's always somebody that doesn't pull any weight and everyone else pulls their weight. And it's kind of like this class. And I think if we were in a group of 8 or 9 people on those papers and one person didn't do it, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But when you're in a smaller team, one person not doing it is kind of huge. So maybe the size of the team would make a difference. I don't know. I like the idea that I think it should be based more on the overall production of how the whole company is doing more than just the team. I don't know. So
I'm trying to think. Did anybody mention like how to incorporate a team approach? But
they talked about team input. So teams would input what they felt compensation should come from, and so that they all felt ownership. So they just talked a little bit about that, and that made more sense than someone else telling the team how they should value what they're doing. But I also think we've learned that compensation isn't the only reason why you're motivated to do your job well.
Right.
And so
you think on the surface that it would be like, I need to make a living, I need to support my family, but
to a point, yeah.
At the same time, like Brother Bonnie has mentioned it in several of his things, you need to like what you're doing. You know, you need
to feel valued.
Important.
Yeah, I know. I think it's interesting. So I know that one of the insights that was taken from Donald Berwick, I think it is, of my pages, he talks about motivation should not be based on pay, but they should find the value of contribution and recognize the joy in good work and powerful motivations. So I wonder if they're really barking up the wrong tree completely. If they're unhappy with their pay scale, they need to just improve their pay scale, not look at compensation based on good teamwork for their salary, their base salary. I don't know.
Okay, so let's talk about that then. Improving the pay scale. Whoops. How would we go about, I mean, what would be the parameters, the parameters of improving a pay scale? Like,
I don't know how every job or office functions, but I know in many that they have a pay scale. So you land somewhere in this pay scale.
Oh, that's true. My husband's a teacher, and I can go online and see, like, okay, someone that's been working for 5 years or 15, like there's an actual.
Yeah, and you can be hired for a specific, with that pay scale level 95 or whatever it might be, and then within that there's fluctuation. And so I can see that as going in, okay, you're going to get this, which is right where you're at, but it can fluctuate depending on cost of living, upon a promotion, upon, maybe incentive in part in doing better at completing a project. And then maybe you're a 95.5 or I don't know exactly, but somewhere, I just think that there's maybe a better way than only, it sounded to me like, let's take away 25% of your pay and then be flexible. But maybe if they're saying we're going to stay where you're at, but we're going to raise the bar And if you can raise it as your team works together, that other motivations factor in, and then as a team, you can raise your level of pay up at different increments, which I guess is what they're saying, but not as harsh. If that makes sense. Does that make any sense?
Mean not as harsh? Like,
well, my only thought is that from their overall, when they came in and says, this is kind of what we want to do, people are like, wait a minute. Don't take away to then give back depending upon everybody else in this big, huge team. We all should be at where we're at and then raise it depending upon a different motivation, I guess. Not the pay motivation.
Performance.
Yeah, maybe a performance motivation. I don't know. It's a little confusing to me because I don't really know how it works.
I don't know how to run it. I don't know how to run a company.
Yeah, I don't. I've never done that before.
I never want to.
Not something I'm looking to. Another note I had was that it takes time. So they want to implement this very quickly. And I don't
yeah, that was ridiculous.
That was ridiculous.
You've got a month.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to do this. And everyone's like, wait. So.
Yeah, the other guy had more of like a 3-month plan, I think, which sounded more logical.
It almost seems like each of these people that gave insight to it had one point that was important. And the time for him was, very much, we really need to investigate this. There needs to be a panel that comes together and we need to, all of you, not just one meeting, and this is how it's going to go.
Okay. The one guy that I was supposed to be, he wanted layoffs. Did you agree with that? I didn't. I thought if this company is doing well.
Yeah, why are we looking at layoffs?
I don't think layoffs was the answer.
I don't think so either.
I mean, it did say something about if anybody wants to go. So maybe it's that whole thing, like, here's the deal. What was that one thing we talked about where they were offered $1,000 to quit or whatever?
Yeah. And maybe that's, but then it looks like people are staying basic for the non-pay. I don't know, that motivation thing I think is a really huge key. You've got to motivate them for more than just their pay or their non-pay. They've got to be motivated to do well because the company succeeds. I mean, I see, wouldn't it be great if the company's succeeding and part of your pay, back is stock in the company? Or, there's so many other alternatives that can be given than, I don't know.
That's a great idea because I don't think anybody brought that up in this.
And I don't know why I got it unless I read it.
I don't remember reading that. I know one person was high on motivating in other ways, like, gift certificates or your picture on the wall, which that wouldn't be like, that's okay, I don't want my picture on the wall.
Yeah, I need that.
Employee of the month. But I don't remember which person it was, but they were very into the outside motivators.
Yeah.
Like the psychological aspects of that, building you up, and which I think is good, but I think people also want a little something. The company is a good idea. In one of my other classes, we're talking about the, this probably wouldn't depend on your performance. It just has to be a given. Some companies we've talked a lot about health savings accounts and how companies are giving their employees, offering them an incentive to sign up with a health savings account by giving them $500 a year to put in their savings account for health benefits. But I don't think that's something that they could say, well, if you do well, we'll give this to you. I think that's just something that they have to, if they're going to offer it, they're going to offer it. But
yeah. I can see where they really want to focus on teamwork, but it seems like it's we're forcing you to work on your teams.
Right.
And that seems like a deterrent rather than a motivator. I would come in more grumbling about my team than I would be willing to make it work, because now you're affecting my livelihood and my ability to maybe take that trip that I wasn't going to if you don't do well. And that doesn't that seems a punishment more than a motivation. So
That's true. I wonder, like, what's a good way? Because I know sometimes in our classes we feel the same way. Like it's a punishment to have to work in a team because we just get it done when we can and not be tied down to other people's schedules.
Yeah.
But if they were using teamwork, I don't know, how could they incorporate teamwork and make it a good thing?
You have a lot of salespeople's jobs who have a base salary, and then based on their performance and their sales, they get more. I don't know that would be maybe that, because I know that one of this Donald Berwick talked about the voice of the customer needed to be represented in. I kind of thought he was a little bit off. I didn't quite understand his as much and how it applied, but he felt like the customer needed to really qualify if someone was able to get, if their teamwork was really valuable, and that, but that's very objective. I'm not sure that the customer sees the out product, not all of the details going into it. So that didn't make a lot of sense to me. But
and I did not even catch that, because I think, wasn't there a quiz question? I think
I probably missed it.
There was something about customers, and maybe that's one of the ones I missed because I didn't remember reading about customers.
Yeah, that's just something I had written.
I highlighted lots of different things, but that wasn't one of them.
Yeah, that's why those quizzes don't really work. I think the one, Michael Beer was probably the one that, he was the last one that I thought had some really good points. He just kept talking about compensation shouldn't come from based on your performance shouldn't be based on pay, and that becomes a distraction for you. He says behavior changes need to be done first, and then attitude and knowledge follows. So it seems like they've worked so hard to make this QFA, this quality whatever plan, and now they're going to take a huge step backwards because they've been working on this teamwork and this accountability, and now they're going to come back and say, well, now dinner on the table means that you better work harder. That didn't make sense. And he's the one that said we need some time, because he says most organizational change is done without effective diagnosis. And so, they're pushing this, but haven't really, what is their end result? They're just throwing out a program, but not really identifying what they want to accomplish at the end, is what I felt. So, but I couldn't tell you what to do necessarily.
No. I'll have to make something up.
I know. But Michael Beer says if Sid Noble really believes what he says, because he's the one that I was looking at, and he was with the scientists and felt like, the scientists work more individually, researching and developing, and their pay shouldn't be influenced by the people that are outside of their little realm, although they work with them. But he says, so Michael Beer says, then give scientists a choice between traditional pay or some manner of team-based pay. No overall system should force everybody into one plan. Instead, there should be a voluntary system that is organic, incremental, and based on the process in place. So maybe they need to just look at what they already have and tweak what program they already have for pay, their compensation already, and just tweak it and make, there's maybe some that really, we are a team. We do everything together. It depends on all of us. And yeah, if we do well, we want to be compensated for it. So maybe it's a buy-in program. If you want it, buy into this. If you don't, this is what your pay is.
That's a good point. And when you were talking about just the scientists, I was thinking, wait a minute, in the beginning, when they were talking about teamwork and how their compensation was going to be based on teamwork, and the scientist person was complaining because, my scientists don't really care what you guys are doing. They got to work on this. So overall, I didn't pick this up at the time, but was it really the plan to have the whole company be compensated based on teamwork, or were they going to divide up into teams? Like,
I don't know. I felt like it was the whole company. They were everybody. And so
maybe like you're saying,
right.
Just deal with the scientists, give them their own little incentive, whether it be, extra pay or, bonuses or whatever, but don't link them with the other groups. So maybe they need to divide up a little bit more.
Yeah. And that's kind of what he was saying, give people a choice, because there are places where that benefit could really pay them, but others, it's not going to benefit them. So maybe they need to take department by department or team by team instead of an overall.
I think that will be helpful. Departments.
I have, I highlighted this. I don't remember why, but who is it that said this? Don Bierwick says, this course does not mean, let's establish the value of learning. So he was really pushing that, you need companies to really work on the learning part of their job and their skills and to improve them. And he says, this course does not mean that people like Sid Noble, the scientist, are not valued as scientists. It means that people like Noble are more effective when they understand their roles and how they can work with others. So maybe it's a learning curve that they're facing as well. Maybe they need to be a little more focused more on their training and their career development and that learning process to help that teamwork build, so that they understand the scientists have a role with the people down the line. I don't know.
That's a good point. Sorry, I'm just scribbling down lots of notes, because when we hang up, I will forget everything we talked about.
I totally understand. This guy goes on to say, one final flaw in the plan is that it ignores intrinsic, non-financial motivation, which we've talked about. Compensation formulas can only do so much. The best quality managers understand the value of celebration, recognition, and joy in good work is powerful motivators. So it sounds like they've got this pay thing so backwards. They're so focused on it that instead of really looking at the value of people's jobs, they're putting a price tag on that value instead of, a price tag with their income instead of a recognition of their contribution. So I don't know.
So I think overall, maybe our, like if we were to come up with a plan, we would try to focus more on the non-monetary, what's the word?
Yeah. Non-monetary compensation. So maybe if they look more at their pay scale, what it is now, and maybe look at different leveling, so they could level their, chunks. I don't know how to say it because I don't know all the terms. And since we don't know what their pay scale looks like or what their pay plan is now, it's hard to say. But maybe they need to just tweak little things. So they need to say, this is your base pay, but the more your team or the company, if you'd like to buy into this, is effective, then we're able to give you another level. Or this year we, instead of the cost of living, we also give you another percentage of your pay based on those things. So I can see it, but it needs to be a buy-in, and then they need to motivate learning and working together and rewarding, not focused on money. So I guess there's a twofold is what I would think.
Okay.
So maybe look at their pay scale a little more carefully, and then also look at why is pay their motivator, and it shouldn't be their motivator to do well. Because wasn't there a question that says lying and cheating happens more often when it's based on pay or something?
Oh yeah, it did. There was something about that.
and I don't remember what the right answer was, and I probably didn't get it right, but I do think that you can see a teamwork if their 10% of their pay increase is based on how well this product does. You can see them cutting a few more corners.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody on that team is going to stay late every day to make sure it works. They're going to be much more, cutting corners just to get it done so that they can get that pay. So I don't know. Because I'm all for pay. I like money.
Yeah.
And we need it.
Bonuses are good.
Bonuses are really nice. So maybe they do need to look more at bonuses. Maybe it's a bonus, not a compensation that they need to see.
Because compensation is their regular pay, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And so we talked about
bonuses.
Year-end bonuses, maybe stock options, maybe buy another day off, or maybe there's other options that they can give them that as the team works together, or as an individual works, they get those based on they can choose.
Mm-hmm. I like the extra vacation days, because that's not so much like here's a bonus, here's a little more money for you, but here's a day off that
you've done a great job.
You're not going to be punished for taking this day off by, not getting paid.
Yeah.
But I think
you worked really hard. So that would be a sense of a reward and a motivation to do. If we do really well with this, we've got these options to look at that can help. And maybe that's a yearly evaluation that they put in, or maybe that's a quarterly evaluation where they get to do a reward based on.
I like the quarterly idea, because sometimes yearlies just seem so far off. It's nice to get a bonus at the end of the year or something. I mean, my husband's a teacher, so it's never been, oh, you get a year-end bonus.
Yeah, what's that?
Oh, you get raises every once in a while. But I do know people in my family who, they talk about, oh, we got a great bonus this year. Or, oh, our company didn't give us anything this year. And But I think quarterly for the smaller, the smaller prizes, quarterly might be a good.
And I think that would be based on the team and on their responsibilities. I mean, so they've got to do a better examination of what their company does, the teams they have, the teams they want to form, and then what will help motivate that team, and how can we give that reward or that benefit to them. So yeah. I don't know. It makes you think,
Well, you have a lot of great ideas.
I'm just talking. I don't know if they're good.
Read and take the quiz and then go, what did I just read and what did I just take a quiz on?
Well, I'm a lot better at talking than actually doing. So I can talk about it forever. It doesn't mean it will work. But
well, that's all we really have to do right now. So that's okay.
Well, my husband does not get bonuses, and he is in a pay scale, and he's at a level, I don't know what level, we'll say it's a 95, but within that level, there's 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. I think there's like 4 or 5 numbers. And then you can go in between, and depending upon, but you'll always stay within this range. So depending on cost of living, depending upon, because of his position, that's where it stays. But there's, there's different factors that come into this. And I wonder if it could work something like that. But I don't know how to explain that any better than that to you. So you can make it up. But, it'd be nice to have a bonus, or, well, his company doesn't have stock, so that wouldn't really help. But they could buy stock for us in a different place. That might help.
Is it just a smaller company?
No, he actually works for the church.
Oh, well.
So yeah, they don't do bonuses. So, but
what does he do for the church?
He actually is the director of information services for seminaries and institutes. So,
like over all seminaries?
Mm-hmm. And institutes worldwide, yeah. So that's what he does.
That's a big job.
Yeah, it keeps him very, very busy, and I can't tell you much more than he does, because he's just, it's kind of a lot of stuff. But But I would love to see a bonus, because I love it when people are like, yeah, at Christmas, our work gave us this big bonus. We're like, oh, like a bonus, that'd be great. So
did he start out like teaching seminary and then moved?
he did.
Like teaching seminary full time? Because here, someone teaches seminary and it's not a full-time job.
He taught seminary full-time, which is when I transferred from Utah State to Ricks College.
Oh, okay.
He got a job teaching it in Rexburg, and then we went out and got his PhD in Indiana, and he worked as a coordinator. So he coordinated early morning seminary teachers and their classes.
Okay.
And then we've been back here for 14 years doing many different jobs all over for that, worldwide, basically. So
okay. So he does get to travel then, and
he does. He gets to see everything and do everything, and I stay home.
Darn.
I know. Sometimes it's good.
Yeah. So. And sometimes you're jealous, I'm sure.
Sometimes when he's like, "Oh, I'm staying here." Oh, yeah, great. But he doesn't like to go. He'd rather stay home. So.
Isn't that funny? That's good. You want it to be that way.
Yeah. Is your husband in public school? Is that what he's, public education?
Yeah. He started out as a teacher, and he spent several years teaching, and then he had the last 8 years in administration, and now this school year he went back to teaching. So.
And does he like that better?
Yes.
Yes. A lot.
Administration and politics is not. It was. I mean, he loved every day. He loved what he was doing, but the politics in the school districts.
So hard.
They're just really difficult, and being a member of the church, and you're not schmoozing with people, and the way they like to schmooze. So he was very happy to go back to the classroom this year, but that's why I'm like, I need to finish quickly. I need to get a job, because that was a big pay cut.
I bet.
He's happier. He's
happier. Yeah.
So
yeah, I would think that would be enormous pressure and morals and values and I can't imagine. That would be hard.
Yeah, so it was a tough transition for me. I'm like, what? I pay bills and you're telling me how much? How much are we going backwards?
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm looking at with this case. You can't going backwards, especially. I mean, that's just especially
not when you're doing the same job. I mean, I know
the same job exactly.
I have changed positions completely, and knew it was going to be that. Was
I just can't, and it would be really hard if your pay that you planned on was influenced by everybody around you, and if our grades were pay and I was dependent upon people that maybe I didn't work well with, that would be really difficult. And I know what happens. I know it's out there, but I just think that would be, to go back to that doesn't make sense to me in this case.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't. There's good parts about the teamwork, but the pay being based on teamwork, I don't think that works.
Well, and that's why I think they've got to probably go back to just their whole pay structure, because obviously they're not. Maybe they feel they're paying too much for some places and some people, so maybe they need to look at that pay structure overall. And then, but this was done in 1992. Think of how much has changed in that 25 years.
That's true. Sometimes these cases, I'm like, can we get something a little more?
Yeah.
I get the idea of what they're doing, and I'm sure companies still go through this, but sometimes they seem like outdated. And
we've read a lot of things that were right in the middle of that recession period too. And I think, I'd really rather see what they have, see that, but then see what they're doing now to see how they've made it or how they're progressing. I don't know. So.
Well, I think we probably could wrap up. I think.
Do you have enough information? Do you feel okay about it?
Yeah, I think I'll be good. I'm just looking at the final questions. Like, just what was the most important thing that you learned from this case? For me, it was, there's not one right answer. That there really, you have to bring people together, and because that's what they did. They called in different people from the company and to get their ideas. But then at the end, it was like, okay,
We'll be
well,
back
we're going to move forward with this plan, whether you like it or not. But the importance of like that is a team effort, you know, bringing people together and creating that team or that committee. But just that there isn't just one right idea. Like all those 4 people that gave their opinions afterwards, after reading the case, they all had different ways of solving the problem. And there isn't just one right way. There's lots of ways that it can work.
Well, and I think what I'm learning a lot, and every week I think about this, is that a company doesn't run without the people. And so management and the company itself really needs to take more care and watchful eye over their employees. If they want them, they need to strive to keep them, not strive to alienate them or to punish them. And I think that that's what this system that they're looking at is really more of a punishment. And maybe
Right.
they do want to get rid of people. Maybe that's why that guy says lay them off then. Maybe that's, you know, they want to get rid of people. But I worry about that. I think we live in a time when we're not very kind to people. We need to be more aware. I mean, this one guy says this plan lacks charity. Yeah, it does. You're basically overhauling someone's lifestyle without their choice, and that's not right. So, but the day of business, I guess, age of making money.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, interesting. Yeah, I always say, boy, if I ran a company, it wouldn't be like that, and it wouldn't be like that. But I don't really know what I would do.
Well, I meant to, I don't have my doohickeys paper right here with me. I meant to glance at doohickeys because it's been a few weeks.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think, wait, what problem did they have that goes with this? But I'll look at that this week and figure out what my problem will be. And I don't know. I think we all trust each other enough to get our part done for doohickeys that I don't feel like we need to report to each other what it's going to be. But next week, if you have like any ideas for me, or if I have them for you, for, you know,
that sounds great. I think we've done a great job, and you're a very good writer. So I was really impressed. I thought you must have worked hard on it, because I thought, oh, I love how she just brought it into place very well.
I probably spent too much time on it, but I want it to sound, I sometimes I just feel so dumb. Like I just don't want it to sound dumb. I would just want it to sound
like I'm intelligent and I can really act, but I feel the same way all the time. And I'm like, because I don't talk
sometimes takes too long.
I know.
But I know this paper is the one that's due basically Thanksgiving weekend. So I'm like, I need to try and get my part done before we leave, because I can't write a paper when I'm in Utah. You know, it's not gonna. No, I need to do it.
I agree. And it'll be nice that neither of us have to do it, and he does, and maybe he'll have a little more time to break away and get it together. But
he seemed to not care when I mentioned it at the beginning. I'm like, that's Thanksgiving, and I remember him saying, "It's okay." Okay, all right.
Good to have a. I don't know if they have children, but it's kind of.
No, he said he doesn't have kids.
That might help. So yeah.
Not that he won't be celebrating Thanksgiving, but just in, you know, just not quite.
It's a little bit different. Good. Well, Heather, I loved working with you. Thank you, and I think it's been great. So.
I'm so happy that we do this on Thursdays. I don't know what I would do if it was every once in a while. It's okay to do it a little earlier, but on a regular basis, I don't know how I would get through this. And that's why I don't attend the Wednesday night meetings anymore, because usually I haven't done all my prep work by Wednesday night. So luckily we can watch that and get the same credit, because I would like to be there. I would like to be there, but not if I'm not prepared.
No, and I haven't been home one Wednesday night since they've done it. So there's been some young women's something. So I'm glad we can just watch and not feel like we have to participate. So that's good. But,
I'm grateful for the people that go and provide some discussion. I haven't watched this week's yet. I'm going to do that now when we're done. So.
It was fine, but there was not quite as much added. So.
Oh, okay.
So it was good, but anyway.
Okay. Well, so
All
next
right.
week you're in charge and same time.
Same time, same thing. So
Okay.
that'd be great.
All right. If you hear from Michael, tell him I missed him, and
I'll let him know.
I'll send him an email.
Perfect. Thank you,
You can
Heather.
watch this later. All right. Talk to you later, or see you next week.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.